All right, listeners, we're going to start this episode off a little different because Katie has something to apologize for.
Apology time!
Apology. I have an official apology to make because I did an oopsie and I'm an adult and I can admit when I make oopsies. And adults don't call them oopsies, call them mistakes. I would like to formally apologize to our dear, dear friends who are also some nostalgic movie podcasters, the Retro Video Store Podcast. I would like to say, guys, I am so sorry because this shout out that we're doing right now, this should have happened long ago, and I am so sorry, but we love them, so we're going to take the beginning to just kind of hype them up a little bit and tell you about them.
Well, Kate, I feel like you should use their real names.
That's true.
Eric, Neil, and we think David's part. Is David officially part, guys?
I believe David is official, and I would just like to say the fact that you guys have 3 hosts, which it wasn't always. In the beginning, it was just Eric and Neil, but adding Dave in, guys, I mean, I just claps to you because I know how difficult editing is, and we only have 2 people, so I can't imagine how it's happening with 3 people, so go you guys, it's amazing. But their podcast is so funny, and I've actually been following them for a while. And I guess I should say we.
You had me listen to it, and honestly, they seem very calm, and I just like that they pick the nostalgic movies like us. And even Eric is what was it, the Starship Troopers episode?
Yeah.
He talked about working at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's relatable.
Yes, they also do nostalgic movies, and the movies are they're pretty different. I don't think we've even had the same movie that we've done that they've done. They do a lot more, so there's some ninja movies. There were some horror.
Scary. Yeah, a lot of scary movies.
Obviously, we don't have as many of those.
The Exorcist?
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys nuts?
Yeah, that's a scary one.
Children of the Corn? Ugh.
Yeah. Okay, but seriously, guys, if you want to do Pet Sematary and invite me on, I'm ready. Oops.
Oh my god, invite Katie on.
Oops, just saying. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a little bit of a different genre of movies. And if you like those, you can get so much more by listening to them. And you can find them pretty much everywhere there's podcasts. They're really listed everywhere, which is great. And they do have an Instagram, so you can look them up at the Retro Video Store Podcast. You can check them out. I follow them on there as well, and they do a good job of posting movies and hyping things up, which gets you excited for what's to come. So make sure you listen to them, and when you listen, similar to us, you then need to go and give them a bunch of stars, especially because Eric used to work at Taco Bell, and we know he is scarred for life. So give them a listen. The Retro Video Store Podcast with Eric and Neil, and I'm pretty sure David as well. Give them a listen. They're great. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
Woo!
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Welcome to the board game Clue. Okay, sorry.
That music has been playing in my head all week. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not.
You just took me back to the movie as you started to sing that.
And then you saw the title card and the little scene transition. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Welcome, listeners. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Good to have you back. We're going to play a game today, not like Saw. No.
No,
thank God.
No.
Although, no.
No.
Okay, no. Let me introduce ourselves in case if you are new, so you can get to know us and who you go and play a game with. So we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where 2 sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And it was Colonel Mustard in the library with the lead pipe.
Or was it Miss Scarlet in the conservatory with the knife?
Was there a conservatory in this movie? Was it the room with the plants? Was that?
I think so.
Okay, nobody really went in there much, but
This movie, this 1985 cult classic, absolutely bombed when it came out.
My heart. That's because I wasn't born yet. So that makes sense.
It had a budget of $15 million, so think of 1985, and it only made $3 million.
Oh!
Release.
Ouch.
And as time went on, it was like you either loved it or hate it, and the people that loved it kept it alive, and then it just like exploded as time went on.
I love it so much.
This is so you. You are that like person, you know, that cult classic follow person.
I totally am. The movie is Clue, by the way.
Oh, I'm terrible at this.
It's okay.
This is like episode 30-something, and 34. I still forget to say the movie.
It's okay, because you know what? We kind of kept with the format of the movie where you really don't know what's happening for a lot of the time, and then you know eventually. And yeah.
Synopsis, Kate.
Oh, God.
It's your pick.
I know. Okay, I forgot to like practice. Okay.
Me.
Okay. All right. Well, the movie's called Clue. It's based off of a board game. Do you know when the board game came out?
No, but I will look that up as you talk. It's
okay.
Parker Brothers board game.
Based off of the board game, and if you've never played the board game, basically the whole idea is that there's all these different characters, there's all these different rooms in a mansion, and there's all these different weapons, and you have to figure out who killed, like there was a murder, and you have to figure out who did it, what room they did the murder in, and then with what murder weapon. And so the movie is basically that, except it gives you obviously more insight into the characters, and you get to meet the characters, and you hear some backstory, and you find out that all the characters are kind of connected in a way, and there's a lot of like political ties, which was interesting rewatching, because you know those were parts I always was like yeah, no one cares, whatever. And being older, I thought some of the jokes were actually really funny now. And yeah, and so there's a murder in the movie, and it happens when they're all there together. There's blackmail. There's also then like 4 other murders, or maybe 5 other murders after the first murder. So then there's like a lot of murders, and everyone's locked in. You don't know what the heck is happening. And then at the end, you find out who did it. Or maybe it was someone else. Or maybe it was everyone except one guy. Because there's 3 endings. So... Well, actually, I think one is supposed to be like the actual, is how they set it up.
Okay, I read this sentence synopsis. A group of strangers, all being blackmailed, stuck in a mansion as a murder mystery unfolds around them.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. I mean, I'm sure the plot of this movie has been used in murder mystery parties.
Oh, yeah.
And if not, somebody make that and give me money for the idea.
Yes, and the first question you asked about when did the board game come out? 1949.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
I mean, shoot, that's a long time ago. Like, you know, the thing that I immediately, as this started, I had a couple kind of feelings towards it is, you know, so 1985, it was really fast.
Yeah.
Like, talk, move, move. I was like, a little whiplash. It made me think of 10 Things I Hate About You, a little whiplash. And then I thought about how funny
Tim Curry
it is.
Oh, well, everyone's funny.
Tim Curry
steals the show.
And he was not their first pick. He was not their second pick. He was the third pick for this movie. And could you imagine anyone else doing this? No.
Who were the other 2?
It was names they were not
people
like,
who aren't important. What do you know? Look at that.
And wow. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. When I watched this as a kid, or like, I don't know, a teen, preteen, whatever, I didn't really love it. And rewatching it as adult, I found it to be hilarious.
Well, because there's definitely a lot of, like, talking and humor through the talking.
Oh.
There are some parts that, like, I think a kid would appreciate, like when Wadsworth is reenacting literally the whole movie by himself. God. Like, that's funny and things like that. And there's some, like, physical comedy in here, too. But yeah, it is a lot of, like, talking adult jokes.
Madeline
Kahn.
Okay, Madeline Kahn.
Queen.
Oh my God.
Love her.
I cannot believe how funny she is. And I read a lot about how she did a lot of improvising.
That's great.
And I don't think I appreciated that as, like, younger. So, you know how we used to talk about how movies are, like, designed for, like, kids or teens? I think this is an adult movie designed for adults because I so appreciate it now.
Yes.
When you mentioned how Tim Curry that explains the whole movie, I was the weirdo that rewound the movie
Bridget!
To say...
That makes it long!
Well, of course it makes it long, but I was like, is he really telling the truth? And I honestly, like, I was just as confused rewinding it as I was listening to him explain it. And my head was just like, oh, this hurts. I'm just gonna go back to the end.
Oh my God, I love how you were like, I don't trust you, Wadsworth. I'm gonna look for myself.
Well, I was like, wait, if you saw this movie, okay, let me ask you, have you seen the movie enough to be able to pay attention to, like, who the real murderer is? Because there's 3 endings, right? So which one is it? Mm-hmm. Or do you not care? Just the act of all 3 is what makes it kind of fun.
No, I mean, I think the last one they give, where it's all the different people, except for Mr. Green, were the killers, makes the most sense and kind of fits with everything. Yeah. But it's also like, you know, in the movie land, you don't always see who's doing what at the same time, and there's parts where they're all split up. So, you know, it's easier to, like, get away with stuff like that. Also, there's no, like, no one's, like, dusting for fingerprints or anything. They're just like, who done it? We don't need forensics. We're just gonna use our memories and, you know, make people confess. And then they literally all confess.
I was gonna say, how funny is that?
All of them. They're like, yep, it was me.
It was me.
Like,
I did it. Okay. It's like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay, all of the characters we have to talk about.
Oh my God.
But was your favorite Mrs. White too?
Or yes, because, I love her.
Like, who's your favorite character?
I like her. I like Wadsworth. I really love Mr. Green, and I just feel like I've always loved him because he just, like, he really gets, like, blamed on a lot of the movie. And then in the end, he ends up being the only one not guilty. So I think that's why I liked him.
His whole, like, his character trait was spilling things. Then he would just get nervous and spill on people, and
or, like, breaking things. And you're like,
very slapstick humor.
Yeah. I
laughed so hard every time. Like, he's a famous actor too, who of course I'm blanking
Michael
on.
McKee. I follow him on Twitter. He's a wonderful human in real life too. So
we could tag him on Twitter.
Yay, annoying people. Let's do it. Let's annoy all celebrities. Yes. All right.
They have time to listen to our podcast.
We'll be like, we love your Mr. Green performance. Circa, like, what, 40 years ago, 30 years ago? Who knows?
How about in 1985, the thing that he got blackmailed for is that he's gay.
I know. Well, no, the movie is taking place in the 50s.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That's why I was curious about the game, too. I was wondering that, too. But it says that this is supposed to all take place in New England in 1954.
Wow, did they say that in the film and I missed that? Oh, man.
It was like a title card, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay, that describes why their outfits were so kind of, like, over the top.
That, and also even, like, some of the weapons, you know, like, there's no machine guns or anything, guys. You know, we got, like, the revolver, and then it's just, like, household items. Are the weapons like a wrench, a candlestick, a pipe? And you're like, what the flames? Like, these are just hard objects. I don't understand. There is a knife, though, but it's a tiny knife. It's not like a super scary knife.
It's like a nail file in 2021.
Yeah, probably. Like a letter opener or something. Just, I don't know. And then there's the rope, which is scary because it's like a noose.
I kind of want to go character by character and talk about them.
Yes.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Ooh!
We could go through how they're introduced. Do you want to do that?
Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you didn't know. All right, well, the first one that comes on is the one, the only Queen King, Tim Curry. We love him. He is Wadsworth. And first thing he does is give a dog a bone. Knick-knack, paddywhack. So nice.
And he also steps in dog lane. And then everybody thinks that they stepped in dog lane, but they just smell him and he pretends like it's not him. And I couldn't stop thinking about his character in Home Alone as the butler, or Home Alone 2. And I was just like, oh my God, he is so funny. And he looks so young in this movie too.
He does, yeah.
His energy, and like, I can't believe they would have thought of anyone else playing that besides him.
And in the beginning of the movie, he's not like super animated because he's kind of like got the whole like, I'm the butler, welcome everyone, nice and calm, everybody's calm, everybody stay calm, nobody panic. And then like as the movie goes on, then he kind of starts to show his true colors, and then he literally does a one-man show reciting the entire movie as I would do. So
wait,
love him.
So I want to make sure I got his backstory right. So he was Mr. Body's butler, and Mr. Body convinced his wife to kill herself, and so he blamed Mr. Body for her death. Is that the truth?
Okay, but this is where it gets, this is where the mythos gets a little hazy now, because, okay, the whole movie, the backstory is he was Mr. Body's butler. Mr. Body found out that his wife was, he goes, my wife was friends with socialists, and they all go, which was one of the jokes that I laughed so hard at, because like I feel like the movie was like satirizing that, like their reaction, but also I wasn't sure because it was so absurd. Anyway, so his wife was getting blackmailed by Mr. Body, then she killed himself because of it. So yeah. But if you go by the final ending, the one where there's multiple people who were the murderers, in that you find out actually Wadsworth was really Mr. Body the whole time. And that the guy who was Mr. Body, or that they thought was actually the real Wadsworth. Which is confusing, but...
Wow. The layers.
It's a lot.
I liked him being more of the hero than him being the ultimate villain. Like, I didn't believe it as much. I was like, okay. If I had to rate the endings, I don't believe that one as much because I liked you as the hero.
Yeah, it's a hard act to keep up for like an entire evening, and then all these things go wrong that you don't expect to go wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that is as real for real people.
Okay, who's the next character?
Okay, so that's Tim Curry. So then, and then you see like Yvette, who was the booby maid. That's just her character. It's just, you know, her boobs are out, I guess.
I know. I was like, this is so 80s. But wait, I gotta tell you a story about the French maid.
Oh my.
She wanted that role so bad.
Why?
And I don't know, at the time, I guess this was a really hot project to work on, that she showed up in a maid's outfit for the role. And in 1985, they're like, you know what? That creativity, you hired.
They're like, you look great in that.
I know.
Don't talk. We don't need talking.
I was just like,
fine.
I know. I was like, wait, so you have like a terrible accent and big boobs? This is so boring.
Yeah, she did. She sure did.
Ugh.
So she's there. I think Colonel Mustard is the first one to come.
Yes.
Although I didn't write that down, but I think that's what I remember.
Oh, I wrote them all down so I could guide this.
Okay, please do, because now I'm like...
Colonel Mustard.
It was Colonel Mustard at the front door with the raincoat. Okay.
Why does everybody, when they talk about Clue, pick Colonel Mustard, even though he wasn't technically like the main one out of the two endings, if that makes sense?
I know.
Like, what? Is it just that that's like people can recite his name?
I feel like that, yeah, it's just the name is very like memorable.
So, okay, so his character flaw was that he liked prostitutes and sold Okay.
Well, yes, but like I don't think that was why he was getting blackmail.
But he was getting blackmailed because for old aircrafts, he would sell radios to foreign...
During the war.
Yeah. Right? He would sell radios off of old aircrafts. He
took radio parts from aircrafts during the war that like people were using and then like didn't work. So it was like treason. He kind of like was committing treason in a very like convoluted way.
Okay.
But then, yes, there was the prostitutes, and then he was like, oh, Mr. Body said he'd send those to my mommy. And I'm like, Colonel Mustard, how old is your mom? What's going on here? I'm confused. Like...
I didn't believe that one as much, but like, you know, he kept flirting with, you know, Miss Scarlet the whole time.
They all did, except Mr. Green, which is why he's cool.
But with Colonel Mustard, the thing that I thought was so funny is when he said about the radios, I think it was Miss Peacock was like, and all those American radio, all those airplanes that didn't have radios, or was that Mrs. White?
No, that was Miss Peacock, you're right.
Oh my god.
She's like scolding like she's a school teacher. Yep.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually felt like when I rewatched this, I kind of felt like he should have been one of the people who was like the sole I killed everyone, because he literally is the one that's like, let's split up and like does a whole 180, because he's the one who in the beginning, he's like, there's safety in numbers. So you're like, yeah, totes. Absolutely. We learned this from Scooby-Doo, from like every horror movie. You're 100% right. And then literally like 2 scenes later, he's like, let's split up. And everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening? And he like goes on this whole like speech about why they should do that. So I just felt like, I was like, that's weird. Like why? I just didn't know why that was coming from him if it wasn't purposeful. And then they kind of try to tie it into the last ending where they're like, well, it was Colonel Mustard's idea to split up. I'm like, yeah, but then he only kills one person, but there's like 8 other million deaths. But like it was only, what? What are you talking about?
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know who comes after Colonel Mustard?
Mrs. White? She's so good.
Oh my, how many times has she been married?
I wrote, Mrs. White is dressed for her next husband's funeral right now.
That is brilliant. Okay, she had 5 husbands.
Well, that's a lot.
Okay,
what?
well, it's a lot. And then all of them died.
Well, one disappeared.
Okay.
And she goes, that was his job. He was an illusionist. And
Wadsworth
goes, but he never reappeared. She goes, oh, he wasn't a very good illusionist. Amazing.
That line that you just said, I was just on the floor. I mean, her timing, her humor. Honestly, she has a little bit of like dad in her, where she had these like silly facial reactions, but her timing was gold.
Yeah.
The ending scene where they were like, and you killed a vet because a vet slept with one of your husbands, and she was like, I hated her. I hated her so much. I hated her. I felt I was hot. I had flames on the side of my head. How much I hated her, and her like her finger gestures. I was like rolling on the floor. I was like, this woman deserves like an award.
That was probably ad-libbed because that was so good. Oh
my god!
And then they all just like move on. Like she's still talking. They're like, anyway, on to the next person. This is gonna be a while. So
she's just like, she was so good at like making you think she was the killer while making you think she was innocent, while just being this like comedic relief that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then that whole, I mean, what... the mesh, like her hat, like with the mesh in front.
Literally like funeral garb. I'm like, you're literally in all black. I don't know what's happening.
So I want like cult following of just her. Like I need to know more about her. I want
Mrs. White or the actress?
The actress.
She was in a lot of Mel Brooks movies. She was in Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
And she was in Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
And I actually feel like she's a really good singer and might have been in some movies where she she had to sing, like, before even this movie.
I didn't appreciate her as a kid. And
So
being
funny.
older, I'm like, wow. Okay, let's see. And then the car breaks down. So
convenient timing is convenient.
yes.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Peacock. No. Miss Scarlet. Oh God, I'm screwing it up.
Miss Scarlet gets picked up by Professor Plum.
Yep.
Both literally and figuratively, because he's gross. And I guess
gross.
she's a lady. So, like, what? I don't...
She did the like leg kick up to get like, okay, let me just, if you were on the side of the road.
No, my legs are not shaved, so no.
But like, one, can you imagine trying to like pop your butt out as you're under the hood and then you kick your leg up to get a guy to stop? I'm sorry, I don't want any guy to stop because you're gonna murder me.
Yeah, I would go hide behind my car. Be like, don't look at me.
I'd be like, don't look at me, don't look at me. Oh my God. So she pops her leg up and then he stops. Like, it was like a cartoon. I was like, this is weird. So I read all about how many like famous people wanted her role, like Madonna and all these other people. But I thought she was a really good cast.
Yeah, I
too.
thought she was good.
She played her role really well. But she was kind of this like, she ran the prostitute ring and I didn't understand like what she was being blackmailed about. I was very confused with her story.
Because
she sold, but she only says it at the end that she sold secrets.
Yeah.
And then Professor Plum had sex with one of his patients, so he lost his license.
Yeah, and the blackmail was just so that his new job, like, doesn't find out about that, but, like, how do they not know about
How do they not know? How do they not know?
I don't know.
Loophole.
I really liked Miss Scarlet's coat that had, I don't know, it wasn't a hood. It was like a like a collar that
Yeah,
literally was like over her head.
It stood up.
What? It was so big. What do you do with that?
It was like Alice in Wonderland, Queen of Hearts
Oh
color.
my God. Wait, do you think like that was on purpose? Because her name is Miss Scarlet and like Queen of Hearts was red? Connection.
Maybe?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, she was interesting. I mean, in the whole story where it's like, oh, she killed everyone. I'm like, okay, well.
I know. She could. Okay, I also read that if you notice, she's never really technically sitting down. She's always like leaning, sitting, because the dress they gave her was just all wires that she like literally physically couldn't sit.
What?
And so I had that in my head watching the movie, and I thought, there's no way you killed everybody. You can't even sit.
Girl can't move, so.
Like, how are you supposed to murder people? Like, and you have heels on. I can't walk, let alone murder people in heels.
Well, and it's also like, okay, let me get this straight. So, if that was the actual ending, you're telling me that you went to this party, intended on only killing one person, and then magically, all these other people that you magically knew magically, and then in the spur of the moment, you decided, you know what? I'm going for multiple homicide. I'm going for jail for life right now. Here we go. And then you just do it? What? No planning? No way.
I know.
There's no way.
I don't believe it.
And then did you hear the really lame Gone with the Wind reference that Wadsworth does at the end of that ending?
No.
Wadsworth, like, takes the gun from her and then the cops come in and then she's like, Wadsworth, don't want to take me or something. And he goes, frankly, Scarlet, I don't give a damn. I'm like, oh my God, people, come on.
Well, I did love Professor Plum, the singing telegram, which no one understands why. I have your singing telegram. Bam!
Bam. Love it.
Like, I believed him killing her for that. Like, I get it. She was the patient and lost. But, like, I just felt like Professor Plum was this skeevy. All he wanted to do was, like, make out with people. And I'm just like, ew.
Yeah.
He was just, like, really skeevy. He didn't age well.
He was gross.
And then he kept trying to use, like, psychology on people, which I think is a really old character. It's like, I'm the psychologist and I can figure out how to, like, make you all do what I want.
Well, it's also, like, a little bit of, like, mansplaining in psychology because it's like, well, I'm, like, a professional male psychologist, so I'm first smart. And you're like, nah. And you also got fired. You don't even have your license. Technically, you're not a psychologist anymore. Okay. Just saying.
Okay, then we talked about Mr. Green, who's just magical, and we all love Mr. Green.
I love him, but Mrs. Peacock, I think, comes next, too.
Oh, her voice is so annoying.
She's like...
How annoying is her voice?
I feel like there's no one that specifically comes to mind, but I just feel like I had her as a professor in grad school.
Yes!
Right? Like, she's just like one of the... And you're like, paying you so much money. Why is this happening? Why are we doing this? Oh my God.
Her voice is like, as she was speaking, you wanted to either like pull out the words faster or hit her because she just was so slow.
She did get slapped by Mr. Green.
No, I loved him. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait. I gotta tell you something about Miss Scarlet. I forgot about
that?
Carrie Fisher was supposed to play her,
Oh.
but it was right before she went to rehab.
Oh, well, that's important, Carrie. So it's good you went there.
If people want to learn about Carrie Fisher's amazing skills besides what you think, listen to our Sister Act episode.
Yeah, she's a queen. One day we'll do a Star Wars episode when I can peer pressure Bridget. And then Bridget will be like, I have a lot of questions.
Oh, God, it'll be like the Pokemon one. I'll need you, Mary, Jimmy. I'll have like a PowerPoint. I'll need like a whiteboard. I don't even know. Oh, man.
One day.
Okay, and then Mr. Body, but like, what a weird character. Why did they pick him?
Yeah, he was weird.
He was weird looking.
He was weird acting.
Yeah.
And like, that's why if you think of, again, the endings, you're kind of like, okay, I guess I could believe it because Mr. Body comes in and he doesn't like reveal anything right away. He kind of is like, what are we doing here? And then Wadsworth is like, everyone's invited. Like, it was like weird, like their interaction, because you didn't know what their relationship was. And I could have seen it as like Wadsworth was the butler, but then like I could also, going back, be like, well, maybe it could have been reversed.
Yep. Well, because he tried to run out, remember? And then and you were like, why would Mr. Body leave the place he showed up to?
But he would, because Wadsworth like organized it all to basically out him. But then if that's not what was going on, but Wadsworth was trying to make everyone think it was him, then I could also see him if he was the butler trying to run away too. Like, I could see both.
Listeners, at this point in the episode, we want you to write down in the card who did it, in what room, with what weapon, put it in an envelope, and when we're done with the episode, then we'll figure out the real answer.
One day we'll learn. One day.
We really won't.
But definitely was not Mr. Green, so don't even just frame his card on your wall, because that's where it deserves to be.
Every time I play Clue with you, I'm just gonna make Mr. Green the murderer, so I always win.
I don't even remember how to play.
Okay, wait. Can we talk about how, it gets to the end, and he's like, I know how it was done. And everyone's like, what? And then you play the music.
Literally plays my head.
And then he Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation style high knees into the kitchen.
There was a lot of that at the end.
I was dying.
Yeah.
How many takes did he do? I bet he got a full-on workout for this role. And then they were all running that way, and they were all running this way. I was
he's
laughing
running, and then
so
he's like
hard.
non-stop talking and monologuing, and he was talking so fast, like recounting everything, and he kept going. And to make a long story short, and they all go, too late! And I was like, should I say that? Is that me? Okay. Yes, it is.
Okay, wait, let's talk about why did all the random, people show up? It was like Wadsworth invited strangers. Oh, I have to use your phone. Oh, my car broke down. Oh, I'm the cop. But, then he would always lock them in the room.
Yes.
Which I thought was weird. And then they all end up dying. So why did they keep coming?
Well, okay. They start arriving after Mr. Body, who may or may not be Mr. Body, was dead, or they thought he was dead. And, Wadsworth allegedly didn't know that was gonna happen, allegedly.
Oh.
So I think he didn't think the other people were gonna die. I think he was like just gonna invite them to like throw people off of the trail that he was a killer somehow and be like, what a surprise. And then at the end he was like, oh, you all killed off the informants, so then there's like no witnesses or like there's no like leads or whatever at the end to like lead it back to me. But he locked them in the rooms because they were literally dead bodies by the time they came, because Mr. Body was dead and then the cook was the second one to die. Like, could you imagine Mrs. Peacock? You're telling me.
I know.
Mrs. Peacock.
I know.
Is running to the kitchen
way.
Viciously stabbing a cook in the back?
No.
Just
because of monkey's brains, her favorite dish?
I don't think that's why she killed her, but well,
they made that connection that they knew her because Also, okay, wait, you started in the beginning of this episode about the political ties. We have to bring back all the political ties.
Yeah.
So everybody worked for the government.
Or they lived in Washington. But I think most of them were government related. Like Miss Scarlet, I think, was the only one who didn't technically work for the government because she had her own prostitute ring or whatever you call it. But then those all coerced with politicians and stuff. Professor Plum worked for the World Health Organization. Someone worked for United Nations? Was that Colonel Mustard, maybe? Or like Mrs. Peacock's husband was
her husband.
Senator.
Yep.
Mr. Green was what?
Well, later we find out he was in the FBI, but they didn't know that.
They didn't know that, but he had some other explanation for what he did that was Washington related, and I don't remember what it was. And then Mrs. White. Oh, maybe Mrs. White's husband used to work for United Nations.
Okay.
One of them did. So that was her connection. And then, Colonel Mustard was like a colonel.
Yeah.
So he was like in the military. And then, was that everyone?
Yeah, I think so.
Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot. It's a very ensemble cast.
Oh my god, as we're talking about this, I'm literally getting a headache keeping up with who murdered who, and I don't know. And so the reason it flopped when it came out was people were so mad about this whole 3 ending nonsense.
What? But it's fun.
Okay, describe what you like about the 3 endings.
I don't know, because it's based off of a game, people. And it's a silly movie. This isn't supposed to hit you in the heart and feelies, you know? So, I don't know, I think it's fun. Because they do explain how the 3 different ones could work. And it was just more material of people I like. So, I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun.
So, I don't know. I guess I don't have an opinion about whether I like it or not. I think I like the way you're approaching it, though. If people just think of it as fun, you won't take it so seriously. All the people that ripped it apart, I think were like, how dare they call this a movie with 3 endings? A movie needs endings. And it's but they're also making a movie off of a board game and no one's really ever done that. Right. If you watch it now, it's so funny. They were obviously trying to make it really funny.
This is supposed to be a comedy. This is not supposed to be a drama mystery movie. It's a comedic movie with a mystery theme, in my opinion. So those people need chill pills.
What would you say if you had the perfect scenario and somebody was what movie should I watch? And you're oh, because of that scenario, you should watch Clue. When should someone watch Clue?
All the time. Any moment you have, just put it on. So.
I want you to just forward to Mrs. White's
hated her so much.
Flames on the side, hot flames on the side of my head.
Well, you have to pay somewhat attention. I don't think it's a background movie. You have to because then you're gonna enjoy it more if you're paying attention. Probably need, to be feeling a little patient because it's not a lot of things that happen all at once. It's kind of little things that build up to the end, and then again being patient that there's 3 endings. So have that expectation. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
Well, and do you think a lot of people did murder mystery nights after this movie, and that's what it could get you inspired to do a murder mystery movie?
I would bet that didn't come around from this movie.
Okay,
but it is a thing because
I want everything that I love that's a movie to become a Broadway play. how cool would this be as a Broadway play that every night a different person was the murderer?
Oh, wait, that has to be. This is such a good, like, because it's an ensemble cast, so you've got lots of actors, and everybody is pretty equal for the most part, except the people that get killed, you know? But everyone else, it's not like there's one star. Like, I feel like everyone is the star to the same degree. This has to be a play. Are you looking it up?
I'm not looking it up. I was looking up any other fun facts I forgot to share, and one of them is if you want to add to your movie trivia game, all of the characters show up in cars the same color as their name.
Wait, but not everyone has a color name.
Yeah, they do.
What is Mrs. Peacock? What color is a peacock?
Oh, blue. I feel like that's like a famous...
Oh, peacock blue? Okay, so
yeah,
peacock
right?
is blue. What about Colonel Mustard? Yellow?
Yeah. Wait, are we gonna go through the colors?
What about Mr. Body?
He's not a part of it.
Okay.
I don't know. I was like, okay, I can't forget that. But I think we should talk about the funny lines. First of all, Mrs. White, you mentioned the illusionist. That's by far one of the best lines. We mentioned how she hated Yvette. That was another great line.
Well, I like the part, too, where this is the whole part with Colonel Mustard and Wadsworth, and they're arguing about, Colonel Mustard was like, is there anyone else in this house? And Wadsworth is like, yes. He's like, who? And he's like, I meant no, meaning yes. And like, they're just literally going on and on. And she takes a glass and she like smashes it. And she goes, and then she literally yells at them and then like throws the glass in the fireplace after yelling at them. It's so funny.
Oh my god, she's so funny. And then there's one scene where they were like, and then the guy did this, and then she goes, oh! And she just makes a scared noise. Oh my god. So you're also making me think of Tim Curry when he was like, and your gun has no bullets left. And he was like, 1 + 1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, it's 1 + 1 + 2 + 2. And I was like, what? And then he was like, 1 + 1 + 2. Oh my god.
I know people like that, and they are so annoying.
Just, if there's bullets in the gun, let us know. We
Yeah.
don't need to count it.
I thought one thing, this isn't related to a funny line, but I thought one thing that the movie did well is, again, you didn't necessarily know who was guilty or not, because they really, in my opinion, did a good job of, throughout all the different events that happen, everybody is always, like, kind of taken aback by everything. Yeah. And even the whole, like, when they split up and everyone is, like, afraid because they're like, now I'm paired with someone who could be the murderer. And like, I don't remember who it was, but someone's like, yeah, but what if we get paired with the murderer? And then someone else is like, then we'll know who the murderer is. And they're like, but then they'll be dead or something.
No, I'm telling you, I rewound the movie to be like, oh, could I have known? Could I have like believed one of the endings? No way. It was so fast. And you're right. Everyone's afraid.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yep.
And even I think the most obvious one is the lights go out for Mr. Body and Professor Plum shoots the gun, which he was given.
He was.
And in your mind, you're like, okay, it has to be him trying to kill Mr. Body, but he missed. And he was like, well, I missed because someone took it out of my hands and here's the bullet in the wall. And I'm like, oh, maybe I missed. I was so, easily convinced of, the misdirection.
Right. Or even how, like, with the secret passages. And you're like, of course there's secret passages in this giant mansion. Like, where are we? What's happening? And like, oh, well, Miss Scarlet found one of them. So, like, maybe she knew about it the whole time. And then it's, like, the same argument they use for Colonel Mustard. They're like, well, he found it. You could have known about it the whole time and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah.
The lame cop that he's like, I need to look around. They're all like, oh. And then they literally stage a makeout scene where Mrs. White is making out with dead Mr. Body and she's moving his hand to caress the back of her head. I was like, oh!
They all also thought of that very quickly. I would have been like, let's get a blankie and like put it over them and that'll work. But like, no, they all were like, we're gonna make out with these corpses. Let's do it. Or they were gonna, like one guy, they were like, let's make him drunk. I'm like, oh, like that I wouldn't have thought of either. You
Never.
Literally just have a dead person sitting there and you're just gonna hope it looks like a drunk person?
Did they know about the secret passages at that point? Because why wouldn't you hide him in a secret passage?
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think there was time.
I'm not making out with a dead person.
They did know about the secret passage because the motorist died via secret passage, and then they found him through the secret passage. That's when they also found out that the cabinet was opened when they thought they threw the key away, but he didn't throw the key away.
I've had one drink, and I can't keep up with who did what, and I watched the movie.
Well, funny about that is because I also felt like they were all drinking a lot in the movie. It was like, I need a drink, and everyone's like, samesies. Like, they all like immediately get a drink when they get in. They get drinks during dinner. They have drinks after dinner. Then there's Mr. Body drama, and then they're all like, let's have another drink. And then they're like, maybe the drink is poison. And then they're like, we're afraid to drink. But then they literally all go back to drinking like 10 minutes later. I'm like, guys.
That's when Mrs. Peacock loses it, and Mr. Green smacks her. And I was like, we all wanted to do that. Okay, this whole speed, like this whole like whiplash, I'm so tired. The dinner itself, literally, they were like, okay, here's the soup. Okay, here's the soup.
I know.
Oh, we liked it. Okay, let's go have a drink. I was like, I'm pretty sure they didn't eat anything.
If I was at that dinner, I'd be so upset. I'd be like, I didn't get any food. I didn't have any time. It sucks. Mrs. Peacock talked the whole time. She's so annoying. I hate being here. Ugh. And that's before everyone died, so
Wait, if you could be any character, who would you be?
Mrs. White.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to murder, like, husbands or, like, anyone, but I just want her, like, aesthetic.
Oh my god, and I read, because I was like, okay, why was it a cult classic? I was trying to see if there was, like, a theme, and one of them talks about how Mrs. White is, like, a feminist. Like, if you pay attention to all the things she says and, you know, like, how she, like, talks about things.
I would argue even Miss Scarlet, too, because she kind of rolls her eyes at all the guys, and she's like, you guys are gross, and I literally use you all for money, and you all give me your money because you're stupid.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And Miss Peacock isn't, because she sucks. She's so
God,
just
nobody should be Mrs. Peacock.
No.
Which... Honestly, if we could redo Clue, I might get rid of her.
No, you need her.
Why do you need her, though?
Who's gonna kill the cook because of monkey brain?
Because of monkey brain. But, like, think about it. Like, if you got rid of her, wouldn't it be, like, really awesome?
Well, but then you would be uneven, because you had to have the even amount of people for the splitting up scene.
Ah.
So.
But we didn't need a vet to be
we can't
a
leave
partner.
a vet alone. She's gonna either cry or she could be the murderer. She's gotta go along.
A vet.
Yeah.
The poor cook, man. The cook got, like, shafted.
I know. What did she do?
We didn't even learn anything about the cook.
She had one line, and then she got murdered.
Pretty much. Or she had the knife when Tim Curry shows up, and I was like, oh, is she scary?
It's where she says her one line, and you're like, what? Don't get it.
Can you do the music again? And then we go back to the conservatory.
Right across the whole library.
And then we go back to the kitchen. Through the second passageway. Like, literally, I'm like, oh my god, I am so tired. I think I literally write that in one of my notes. I was like, I am so tired following this movie.
I love it. I love it. That music plays in my head. When I'm thinking.
God, Tim Curry, at one point, oh my god, he had so many funny scenes, but I don't know why I started just giggling at, like, slapstick humor where he was like, all right, I'm in a room, it's dark, don't worry, I'll put the lights on, and then he's in the shower and he just turns it on.
So
I
funny.
literally, again, went back to Home Alone 2 vibes where he was, like, in a shower they didn't want to be in, and I was like, oh my god, Tim Curry.
I love when he's reenacting the whole night, and he's like, and then we, all ran to the kitchen, and then they run, but he goes in the secret passageway, and so Mr. Green, like, runs up to the fridge, and then he turns around, like, excited, because he's like, we're here, and then he's like, well, where is he? And he falls out. They literally play the same exact shot of Miss Scarlet smoking a cigarette indoors, and then screaming. It's literally the same scene. They just copy pasted, and she screams, and he catches Tim Curry, and then Mr. Green just drops him and, like, rolls his eyes, and then Tim Curry just keeps going with the story. And he's like, by now she was dead. And we realized that she was dead. So then we all did this. And you're just like, oh my god, it's so real.
Oh my god. He really was incredible. And now you're making me think about the Mrs. Peacock scene when she tries to faint and Tim Curry just, like, lets her fall through his arms and she falls to the ground.
I'll get her. And then he doesn't capture and the camera doesn't even move. You don't see anyone's face and he's just like, sorry.
She just like wiggles to the ground. I was like, nobody likes you, Mrs. Peacock. Oh my God.
It's just so funny. It's so funny.
Oh, it's so funny. I did like with the endings that the only consistency was that whoever has the gun is the murderer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, at least we have like something to follow because I'm really tired trying to follow all this stuff.
Bridget's like, I've been taking notes.
Oh
I don't
God.
have a highlighter. This is difficult.
I've rewound. I don't know what's happening. I have a headache.
Rewound. What even?
Well, because I was like, how cool would that be if I could like pay attention? No way. You could watch this over and over and over and not remember it all.
The one part that like I feel like can't dispute was that, and like again, this is why I think the last ending is the one that was the real one, is the scene where they hear Yvette screaming and they go to check on her. They're like, there was one person who wasn't with us and that's who killed the cook. And literally the only actor you don't see is Mrs. Peacock. You don't see her because she had just did the thing where she thought she was poisoned. So like part of you could be like, oh, she's sitting, you know, whatever. But that's why like with the other ones where I was like, you think Miss Scarlet, who was literally in that room that we all saw her in, you're telling me what? How did she do that? So like again, the Mrs. Peacock ending, sure, but mainly the last one.
Yeah. So you believe the last ending?
Yes.
Every single individual murdered someone separately.
Except Mr. Green, because he kept saying, I didn't do it.
Your favorite.
Love him.
Mr. Green would be a great Men in Black
addition. What a cool... Oh my God. Wait, could you imagine at the end if instead of like all the FBI people, it's all Men in Black people and like there's like the little pug and like... Oh my God.
And what if all of the Mr. Plum is like an alien and he unzips his body? Like Mrs. Peacock's an alien.
Mrs. Peacock would be an alien.
Oh my God.
100%.
Oh my God.
Oh, that would be... Wow. Does anyone want to make that movie? Anyone? A murder mystery Clue-esque movie, but it's a crossover with Men in Black. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready.
Oh, he'd be so good.
Oh my God. That would be amazing. And then the last line he says is he goes, I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
Which...
He's a gay man, so...
But he's trying to hide it.
Right.
So that's why it was...
Yeah.
Which,
funny.
by the way, thank God people don't care as much if you're gay or whatever versus like how it used to be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how lame. True. The men that are like, I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
Literally,
like,
he like yells it awkwardly. You're like, uh-huh.
But that's what made this movie so funny is like, it was so subtle.
Yep.
The comedic lines were so subtle and, oh my God, I just want to be friends with Mrs. White. I want to hang out with her.
Oh, and I realized too, I'm seeing one other line where it was the Mrs. Peacock ending, and then Wadsworth or someone is like, the FBI, they always get their man, and Mr. Green goes, Mrs. Peacock was a man? And then Wadsworth slaps him in the face, and when he turns from the slap, he gets slapped again by Colonel Mustard, and he flings over like the railing or something. It's so funny. Amazing.
He just constantly like tripped or spilled or slapped or got slapped. He was just like flying all over the place. And then because, again, I'm with you, the last ending makes the most sense. And him being the FBI agent, then you're like, oh, he's so anxious. So that's why he's like so spastic the whole time. Because he's like, I am surrounded by murderers. Like, I'm literally terrified.
He's like, I know some of you are aliens, so I have to like, you know, keep my cool and not blow the cover. And that's hard to do. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, wait, we do have to talk about this one thing where they were like, well, I don't get it. Why did Mr. Body want to blackmail us? And then he goes, well, he thought you were all un-American.
I know. What like, an eye roll.
Oh.
Could you imagine if every person who was un-American by that definition got blackmailed? What? That's too much to keep up with. There'd be a lot of people. A lot of people on there, man. then the socialist comment just made
Oh my
me
God.
literally I like laughed.
Oh my God. Well, and especially after like all the Bernie memes. Oh my God. I was like, okay, yeah, you did it for something we posted where you put Bernie in there. And I'm like, okay, Clue needs to have a Bernie meme because of socialists. It's so funny.
Yeah, I just wrote, all right, Judgy McJudge-shin. Yeah, such a good movie. I think if you've never seen this one and you like to laugh, which I hope you do if you're listening to us or if you're laughing at us, whatever your little heart desires, you should watch this movie because it's awesome.
It is awesome. And I think you should learn from me. Don't care who the murderer is. Just enjoy it.
Yep.
Don't try to figure it out. Just have fun for the ride.
It's just for fun. We're all having fun.
Funsies.
We're all having a good time.
Yeah, I can't find anything else. Can you?
No, I think we did it.
Going home to sleep with my wife.
Sleep with my wife. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow. This is good music. Good period piece music in here. Yeah.
Can I get a dad quote now?
I'll try.
I feel like Clue. Come on, he knows Clue.
And I think I told him about it. So let's see. Hey, I was gonna try to get a quote.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What are we doing here?
Well, the movie this week was Clue.
Oh, hey, good funny movie.
I'll just get a key here, Bridget.
Hi.
Hey there.
Hey, that was a good funny movie.
Right?
Yeah. Was that the one with Tim Curry?
Yeah.
Yes.
God.
Don't eye roll at Tim Curry.
Well, every time I look at him, I see Pennywise.
Oh, what a reference. I told Bridget we have to do that movie, and she doesn't want to.
Terrifying.
So,
no.
But yeah, if we did Clue in this house, it would be Bear in the cage with the dinosaur bone. That's the best one.
That's true.
Okay.
Wait, Dad, I gotta ask you.
See you next week.
Put it back on.
He was tapping out. Oh, Bridget has a
question.
question.
One question, Dad. Do you remember Mrs. White from that movie?
Which one? Was it
Madeline Kahn?
With the short black hair.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember her making really funny lines about how her husband was an illusionist? And then he disappeared, and she said, well, he's a bad illusionist.
Oh, jeez. No, I don't remember
I thought
that,
that's
but
the
good.
line I thought that's the line you would have done since you love magicians.
Oh, no.
All right, see you later. Love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Clue could never happen in this house because everyone's in the same room at all times. So everyone would know who did it immediately.
We're all in the room. We're all with each other. We all killed each other.
It was all of us at the same time with the TV on in the background.
We're all the murderers. My God. Kate, I think it's time that I give you a movie.
Yay! And this is going to be a movie you are picking for yourself. What and why are we doing that in February, Bridge? Do you remember?
It's Pick Your Own Movie Month.
Because of self-care and Valentine's Day, kind of,
Yeah. So, Kate.
Yeah.
Can I also combine this pick with a fan pick?
Yes, we love a good fan pick.
Because a fan, her name is Wendy.
Okay.
She was one of my old bosses.
Aw.
And she's just a peach.
Hi, Wendy. We love you.
We love Wendy. And she's a runner, so she likes to, listen to podcasts because she, runs long distances and just, needs to come up with other things to listen to.
Okay.
And so she made this movie suggestion, and when she did, I was like, I love this movie! And I think it'd be a really, really, really good one to, dissect.
Ooh, okay.
So it's from 1994.
Okay.
We did just do a movie somewhat recently with the main character, and the famous line, or one of them, is, well, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh.
Forrest Gump!
Oh! I thought you were going to make a running reference because I started to make the connection. I just started running and I kept running.
That would make so much more sense since Wendy's a runner. I'm an idiot.
No, I like the chocolates.
That's so much more normal. Every time this movie comes on, like randomly, I will always watch it. And I love the biography movies that take you from like start to finish of a character.
Yeah.
Do you like this movie?
Yes.
Oh, so it's a win-win.
But it's one of those that I don't watch often, but I have seen through it a couple times. And it's good. It's a feelies. Hits me in the feelies.
I know I love all the feelies.
I know. And, Lieutenant Dan. Got some ice cream, Lieutenant Dan. I'm gonna have ice cream when we do the episode. I just decided. So, all for Lieutenant Dan.
I'll have chocolate. We both won't run.
Have a box of chocolates and running. Have some shrimp.
Jenny. Oh, man. I want to learn more about the movie, and I also was just really excited that Wendy was into our podcast, so...
Wait, Robert Zemeckis did this movie? He did Castaway.
Oh,
he
really?
literally was the director for Castaway, and he directed this.
Wow, that's a funny connection I didn't realize either.
Oh, wait, he was a producer for Castaway. Wait.
Well, I hope you like Tom Hanks, because we're just hitting up all the Tom Hanks people.
Tom Hanks? We love him. Sorry. Oh, no, he did direct Castaway. Sorry, I'm still in the Castaway thing. Yes.
Wait, is it the same director as Castaway that did Forrest Gump?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm excited. This could be good.
I think so. So, more Tom Hanks for Mom and us. We have a fan pick. And because it was a fan pick, I didn't really have to think of a movie, which you know is my favorite to not think of a movie. And you like the movie. So it's all wins around.
It's all good stuff. And listeners, if you would like to help Bridget not think of movies, you can request a movie for us. We have a bunch of different ways you could do it. You can go to our website, sisterswhoseenit.com, and on the front page, it's got like these little scrolly, you know how websites have those. There's a little form where you can request a movie, and you can indicate if you think it would be a good pick for myself or for Bridget. And then you can also email us at sisterswhoseenit@gmail.com. And then also, listeners, if you knew that it was Colonel Mustard in the conservatory with the wrench, or whatever we said in the beginning, then you also love Clue, which makes me think you also love us, which makes me think you should write us a review.
Write us in a review.
That was kind of like my Wadsworth. Like, I didn't know how I was going to get there, but like I made it there.
You high-knees to the point.
I high-kneed to that conclusion. We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts and probably some other places, but mainly Apple Podcasts. So
my dream is for someone to write a review that's like, it was Katie in the podcast room with the mic, and then it was Bridget with the whatever, and yeah. Like, I dream of someone, like, maybe it's back to Marcus 122.
Oh,
that
we love him.
We love him. Or her.
Or her. We love
or
them.
However you call yourself. And I just dream of, like, someone getting really creative with reviews.
Well, Bridge, I just want to say that if you had 3 dead husbands and, you were at a party and Yvette was there, I probably wouldn't kill her, but I would, make an impassioned speech about hating her so much. the flames on the side of my face, heaving breaths. I would say that.
Oh, wow. I'm trying to look up quotes to think about it. I'll just, listen, if your car was stuck on the side of the road and you couldn't take it, I'd pop my leg up to get someone to stop. Even God. If I didn't have shaved
Then we'd
legs.
Get picked up by Professor Plum and we'd be like, never mind, let us out. We'll just walk.
We'd be like, we're waiting for Mrs. White. Keep going. She's funnier.
Boo, we didn't want
or
you.
Mr. Green. Where's Mr. Green?
Oh my God, I would love to be in a car with him. It'd be so fun.
I love you, Kate. This is so fun. And I love that you introduced me to movies that I don't think I appreciated. And now I do because of you. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. I'm glad I got you all to join the cult. That's my plan all along.
Okay. See you later.
Love you.
Get ready to run, Forrest.
I just started running. Listeners, get your shoes on. Take off those leg braces. Or whatever. Oh, he doesn't take them off. I think they break or something. I don't know. We'll have to rewatch. It's a long movie. We'll see.
Okay, I love you.
All
Good
right.
night.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswho'veseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.